came out of nowhere, though, because exactly, I mean, her point, Talia's point was just like, yeah, Nazis and stuff, you should just, like, only say, like, you should pretty much punch them in the face when you see them, just not interact with them, just do, like, the worst possible to them. And Briahna was like, is that enough for making, the world a better place in the sense of,
Right.
Yeah, no worries, perhaps having less people who are Nazis down the line or something like that, maybe. And then Talia was like, but that doesn't work and all that. And then the part where Briahna simply asked her, well, what about your methods? Like, do you have proof that your methods, lead to a better world where less Nazis? And that's when she just, like, flipped out and started saying, like, listen, if you don't want to be on my side or, like, believe what I'm saying and stuff, you can do that, but I'm not going to change my mind. And sorry, one last thing. Then it gets really funny, and she's like, sorry if I'm pissed off. I'm trying to quit smoking. And here I think Briahna really got her. And Brianna's like, no worries. So, why are you trying to quit smoking? And then she's like, well, it's because, I'm running and I want to be able to run more. So Brianna's like, so you see, you thought about it and you reached this reason. It wasn't because people were beating you over the head with, smoking is bad. So I think she really got her there. And then Talia goes up, she was like, no, that too. And then Briahna started laughing. So I think...
So you have Cam Campani, good old Cam Campani. I think he makes a good point. Cam Campani is sitting there talking about how Briahna Joy Gray was having kind of a very sober and measured conversation, and then it looked like they both are having a decent conversation, but afterwards, I guess it didn't sit well with how the interview went, and so there's a Twitter spat, and then it just... So Cam Campani, I think he's absolutely correct when he, everything that he just now said. Just to start us, get us rolling here. Cam Campani was 100% correct. So let's just, the whole goddamn conversation boils down to, do we beat the fuck out of Nazis? Do we beat the living fucking piss out of Nazis? Is that the solution? Is that the end-all, be-all solution? Anytime you see a KKK, Confederate, Nazi, any kind of Proud Boy, racist, dirtbag, low-life piece of shit, do we just punch him right in the goddamn mouth? Do we just, give him hell? Do we just do basically anything and everything we can when it comes to changing laws at the government level versus just being shitty to the people on a personal level? When it comes to Nazis, you just got to punch them in the fucking face. You just got to beat the fucking Nazi out of them. And the question is, Briahna Joy Gray is on the side of, well, wait a second on that. Hold up a minute. And Talia Lavin is the one that's all about, no, we got to beat the shit out of fucking Nazis. But there is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no gray areas to this. You're a Nazi piece of shit. You're, fucking goddamn saluting Adolf Hitler in the 1930s. You fucking Nazi fuck. Yeah, you see a Nazi, you punch him in the goddamn mouth. And so, Briahna Joy Gray, she's like, well, hold on, wait just a second there. Wait a...
Convince you. I think if you want to, hold hands with a, Nazi and kiss them gently on the cheek, that's fine. I just don't think it's going to work out well for you.
Do you think that what I'm arguing for is that I Briahna Joy Gray, who sitting before you as a black woman, wants to hold hands with Nazis and kiss them in the street? I'm not trying to debate you at all here. I'm trying to explore what I think are some tensions that I, too, am wrestling with. And I would hope that since we're both members of this group, of these groups, that certainly see no benefit in appeasing Nazis, that we can have a conversation that doesn't presume that where we're coming from is because of some natural sympathy with these groups, as opposed to genuinely trying to strategize about how to fix this problem that we very much agree on, which is that America is being increasingly radicalized in these extreme ways. I feel like
I've stated my position repeatedly, and then I don't quite know how to react to respond other than no, I really believe what I believe. Everything we can do to mitigate those feelings in such large masses of the population, that's great. I think there are many constructive things you can do to fight Nazism that don't involve, brass knuckling up and flattening the nose of a Proud Boy, but, I think you have to be willing to brass knuckle up and flatten the nose of a Proud Boy, too.
Well, after the...
So that's, she's 100% correct. There is no doubting that Talia Lavin is correct. I am on the side of Talia Lavin in terms of, her position. Now, you can argue nicely, right? And, just present your position. I think Sam Cedar, he was wrong on force of vote, but he argued nicely. Now, Talia Lavin, she is on the correct side, and I like, her liberal flower power. I like Briahna Joy Gray's liberal flower power, her liberal rainbow, just pie in the sky. Can we love the criminals? I feel like it comes down to me, criminals versus victims. But right off the bat, I'm on the side of Talia Lavin. Why? Because Nazis, Confederates, KKK, I believe one of these groups, the goddamn Fuhrer forgot to mention when he said, they are, good people on both sides or some shit. So, oh yeah, I condemn the KKK and the Nazis. He forgot the Confederates. No, fuck the Confederates, fuck the KKK, fuck the Nazis. Who were the enemies of the Nazis? Who were the victims of the Nazis? So, anybody that, smiles, anybody that was kind, but also, Jewish folks, communists, brown, black folks, gypsies, gay folks, trade unionists. So the Nazis, was victimizing a lot of people that just, they thought they were stronger, they were the tough guys. Confederates, what were they doing? Oh, they were all about slave owning, right? They had 1% was owning fucking slaves. So the Confederate pieces of shit, they were against people that were against America. They were against Abraham Lincoln and unionization. They were against abolition. They had no fucking morals. They didn't give a fuck. They were racist, white supremacist motherfuckers. And that's another thing that combines, KKK, Confederates, and Nazis. They're all fucking white supremacists. Talk about a fucking disease that's right at the heart of America. That needs to be, rooted out, white supremacist, because it's a cancer which needs to be cut out and thrown, over a goddamn gorge. So not only did the Confederates go after black folks, right, they wanted to enslave black folks, but also the white people that thought that black folks were people, right, so white allies, white humans, white people that were actually fucking humans. So Confederates were against humanity, Nazis also against humanity, KKK, Confederate motherfuckers, racist, white supremacists against brown and black folks, and they're also against the Jews, and they're against black folks. And the Jews, and the black folks. They're really fucking simple as shit, the KKK is. But essentially, I guess the KKK is just your Nazi Confederates. They're combined, right? Your Confederates are against, I guess, mostly your black folks. Nazis mostly against your Jews. But the KKK, they combine the two. But fuck every single one of these motherfuckers. Yeah, Talia Lavin. Yeah, Talia Lavin. The fact that we have had white supremacy in this goddamn country since the very inception, since the very beginning. Let's nuke it. Let's fucking pulverize it. You want to flatten the nose of a Proud Boy? I'm with you. Carpet bomb the fuck out of these white supremacist motherfuckers. And so that's going to be my end position. But I do consider a couple things. when it comes to Briahna Joy Gray's position. So she wants me to love the Nazis and the Confederates and the KKK. So do criminals need love too? So you want me to love the fucking criminals? Do criminals? Yeah, I guess in a way criminals need love, right? Criminals need love. Do fucking racist pieces of shit need love? Yeah, I guess so. But what we need to do is make sure that the victims, right? Maybe the criminal are criminals because they never were loved, but the victims, we need to pick up the victims first, right? The Nazis went after the gypsies. What did the gypsies do to anybody? The Confederates, they went after black folks. What did the black folks do to anybody? The KKK is going after, the Jewish folks. What, the ancestors of the Confederates, right? So, fucking terrorists just riding around at night like a bunch of fucking sick motherfuckers. So, KKK, Nazi Confederates, fuck them pieces of shit. Fuck them pieces of shit. Do the criminals need some love? Yes, they do. But what I think is weird is that in America, victims' rights is controversial. They try to get some victims' rights passed in Kentucky. They already have, but they had to add it into Colorado's Constitution. But you have to have victims' rights. We're going to protect the criminals, and that's it. No, the whole fucking point of the justice system is you're supposed to protect the goddamn victims. And so nobody wants to be a victim, but if you are a victim, then a just system would right that wrong. They would right that wrong. That's what a just system would do. So I like her flower power. I like reimagining, okay, you see a fucking Nazi or KKK, you just want to fucking, just do whatever it takes, right? Just just be awful to them, right? And just, don't talk to them and don't, be nice. But she's kind of saying, Briahna's saying, is there a better way? Is there a better way? Perhaps you could be terrible. Perhaps you could just, go up to a Nazi and punch him in the mouth, and then they'll, you know what? I was kind of in the fucking wrong there. I shouldn't be Nazi. Maybe that works, and maybe that'll work. But she was saying, in terms of smoking, nobody punched you in the mouth and told you to stop smoking. The way you stopped smoking was you logically came to your own conclusion that smoking, hurts you. Therefore, you don't want to smoke. And so she was kind of saying, is there another way to convince Nazi, KKK, Confederate pieces of shit not to be, their white supremacist self? Is there another way? Is there a different way? Now, in terms of free speech, those groups are usually used as a standard because if you believe in free speech, then that means, a fucking Nazi piece of shit is allowed to, technically say whatever they want to say. And I like to think about other ways, too. So, fuck a Nazi, fuck a KKK, Confederate piece of shit. I do think we need to nip this shit in the goddamn bud. Nip it in the fucking bud. And the reason why, and I'll come back to over here being a little bit compassionate, but ultimately, my American side. So they're evil as fuck, right? They're evil and they're pieces of shit, right? Like criminals versus victims. But on top of being evil pieces of shit, they're also against America. Nazis, Confederates, KKK, you're against the United States of America. You picked a stupid fucking enemy. For what? For your evil fucking cause? You stupid piece of shit. So not only are they fucking evil, but my homeland, you motherfuckers are going to come into my homeland. This is what we're fucking talking about. You know what I would love? I would tolerate Stalinists. I will tolerate Chavistas and Maoists. What I'm not going to tolerate is a bunch of fucking Nazi, Confederate, KKK motherfuckers. Fucking racist, white supremacists. You're not better than anybody. Nobody's race is more superior, is better than anybody. If anything, perhaps, their genetics might be a little bit better. So you're just fucking lying, to yourself and everybody else. Yeah, right, white supremacists. You're the one on top. How come the white supremacists always look like fucking trolls? They're like the worst of the fucking white race. Fucking white supremacist motherfuckers always got missing teeth and don't speak right. Yeah, you're the fucking perfect race. Yeah, the Aryan Nation. You're the Mr. Aryan Nation right here. Motherfucker could barely even speak. So you're trying to tell me, right, I'm supposed to, feel sorry for the KKK, feel sorry for the Confederates, feel sorry for the KKK. If somebody comes up and beats the crap out of my wife, well, I want justice. I want John Doe. I want them to find out who the fuck John Doe is. They beat up my wife. I want justice. Of course, I want to beat him up, but I also want to raise up my wife and make sure my wife is doing okay. And I also want to make sure that she's better protected and, make sure that this shit will never happen again. So does, John Doe, does he need some love? I don't give a shit, motherfucker. Just beat up my wife? Fuck you, motherfucker. I'm not going to sit there and wonder what the fuck made you the way that you are? Yeah, throw your ass in goddamn fucking jail, and there might be a psychiatrist in jail for you to fucking talk to. I ain't going to talk to you, fucking low-life motherfucker. So, yeah, fucking Nazi, Confederate, Confederate, KKK, the white supremacist pieces of shit. They looked around the world and LBJ had said something like, it doesn't matter, for white people, the racism is just so deep that as long as you give them the feeling that they are above somebody else, you can pick their pockets, you can rob them blind. And so, how absolutely fucking stupid. Yeah, the flower power of Briahna Joy Gray's argument. I love the flower power. I love that, hey, let's reimagine the world, right? Can we convert fucking KKK, Confederate, Nazi pieces of shit? Yeah, probably, maybe. Clearly there's something, there's a quirk, they're fucked up somewhere down the line. Can logic get there? I don't know. I feel like I grew up around these motherfuckers, and that's the whole point, is that they're not logical. They're Nazis in America. They're Nazis. There's a million things that you could be. You could be a Black Panther. You could be a White Panther. You could be a Rainbow Panther. You could be, a bear or a goddamn eagle. You could be whatever the fuck you want to be in America. And these pieces of shit are like, you know what? I'm going to be something that Hitler wanted in the 1930s Germany or the Confederates, 1850s America. Oh, I want 1860s when the slave owners, stood tall. I'm sure Larry Elder and Candace Owens, you know, probably look at those, you know, those times with fondness or what have you, but no sensible, moral, decent fucking person ever was like, you know, remember the good old days when black people did whatever the heck white people wanted? No, those are not good days. Those are always terrible fucking days. You might have had, you know what, I've heard that some 1/4 of the families had like one slave, but most of them was just, you know, the 1%. So 1% owned most of the slaves. But, I don't know where I'm going with that. But, when it comes to society, you got institutional racism, which you got to, you know, change the policies and government, what have you. But there's also a lot of fucking personal racism. And it's 2021. You hate a person because they're a piece of shit. You hate a person because they're, you know, a criminal. You hate a person because what the fuck ever. But you're going to hate somebody because of the color of their skin. 2021, I have to tell you that it's the character, the content of the character, not the color of the skin. I got to tell you this. 2021, not to be a racist, stupid, don't judge people by their eye color, don't judge people by there's actually a lot of variability amongst white people. Don't judge people based on their ear size or their ear shape or their chins, or don't judge anybody based on any superficial feature whatso goddamn motherfucking ever. Judge them based upon their heart. Judge them based upon, you know, whatever. So victims' rights, protecting victims' rights should not be controversial. Can we imagine the best thing that we can do with Briahna Joy Gray and her perspective? Because she had an article, and her whole thing is, what are the tactics? What are the way forward? Okay, you got, you know, these Nazi pieces of shit. I guess the way forward, Briahna Joy Gray, is make sure that you picked up the victims of fucking Nazis and Confederates and KKK first. You're going to go reach out to these pieces of shit motherfuckers? There's a lot of people that still got scars and are still dealing with the trauma of these low-life pieces of shit. So, you know, before you go reaching, you know, bending over backwards to reach your hand of friendship out to the fucking goddamn, to the enemy, make sure you're reaching your hand out to your friends. Make sure, you know, the victims, make sure the Jews and the communists and black and brown folks and gypsies and trade unionists and gay folks and, you know, white allies and abolitionists and moralists and black folks and brown folks and Jewish folks, make sure they're all picked up. And make sure are you okay? Are you fine and dandy? Make sure it don't happen again, right? Somebody beats up my wife, pick her up, make sure she's dusted up, make sure she's okay. Take her to the hospital, right? Make sure she's protected. Don't, you know, stay by her side. Don't leave her side. Make sure she's okay, and figure out, can we, you know, make this work, or do we got to change something major to make sure this shit never happens again? We got to change, you know, something in our lives so that this bullshit never happens again. So we get justice, right? But we also pick her up, and then, okay, throw the John Doe in fucking jail, right? Throw the John Doe in jail or whatever for a year or whatever it would be. And that gets justice. Now, when they get out of jail, do I got to be motherfucker's friend? Do I got to be the motherfucking, you know, friend and welcome into the fucking neighborhood? No, I don't. The rest of y'all can go ahead and welcome, you know, he done his time or what the fuck have you. But the motherfucker beat the fuck out of my wife when it, you know, for no fucking reason. Fuck him. Fuck that. I don't have to be friends with that piece of shit. And, you know, perhaps somebody might say, well, that's not good for you. And it's like, I think it's not good for you. It's not good for you to suggest for me to, you know, love the motherfucker that, as a man, like, shit, I'm happy that she's still with me. Jesus Christ, I failed, right? That was my one duty, to protect her. I didn't do it. So, yeah, I'm happy that she's even still with me. So that motherfucker almost ruined that goddamn relationship. So the last thing I'll say on Briahna Joy Gray's side, because I think that, you know, I'm on Talia Lavin's side. I wish Talia Lavin would, you know, be more open, more conversational. I believe Briahna's more theoretical, whatever, but Talia Lavin, she's already got it figured out. You know, if she's got an anti-white supremacy plan for the next 30 fucking years. So, you know, fucking A. You know, I'm on Team Frantifa. I'm on Team Frantifa myself. So the last thing I want to mention about Briahna Joy Gray and her flower power, you know, her liberal rainbow love, you know, flower power self. Why I like this is because we do need to, think of a better society, right? Fuck these motherfuckers, nip this shit in the bud because, there's, as an American, this shit is at the core, too much at the core of our society. I've seen it too goddamn much, and it's fucking ugly, and it's bullshit, and it's backwards, and it makes me wonder, like, why would... If you're doing so good and America's so great, why would you pick up on just hating black people just to be hating black people? If, Milton Friedman and capitalism and all this is so fucking great, I feel like you got to be a real dumb motherfucker, a real backward, stupid piece of shit. You're throwing out technology, you're throwing out science. When it comes to having a critical race theory, well, don't be a racist piece of shit. There's some people that have, like, microaggressions, like little things here and there, but they're real powerful allies or what have you. But a motherfucking Nazi, Confederate, KKK, there's motherfuckers in our society that's just like, they don't like people of color, and they just are proud of it. And they have people that surround them. I've mentioned this before, my own grandmother, Barbara Williams. I never talked to her, didn't talk to her for 20 goddamn years. But who did talk to her? People that I wish gave a shit about me, but they didn't give a shit. She was nothing but a nasty fucking asshole to me from the time she fucking met me, from one of my first goddamn memories. And she was so wicked and mean. She's saying racist shit to black people right in the fucking department store, and it's like, Jesus Christ. So if anything, maybe her not, her being a piece of shit turned out to be a good thing in the long run, so I didn't have to say, well, do I love my grandmother or not? Nah, I don't have to love her, and, good on me. I don't have to love a fucking white, racist, low-life, child-abusing, evil, wicked motherfucker. And I'm not going to give a shit. I'm not going to tolerate that bullshit. So, other people decided other things. But that just shows me, look at the extent. You could be a Nazi, Confederate, KKK, a soulless, evil, wicked, motherfucking racist piece of shit, and you'll be loved from the cradle to the grave. It doesn't matter how wicked you are. If you're a white woman, it doesn't matter how fucking wicked you are. If you're a white woman, you'll be taken care of to the fucking end. Well, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's not right. And so, in a way, Bill Burr's right. Yeah, come over here and get your talking to. So, the thing I like about Briahna Joy Gray is ultimately, okay, let's pick a different group that doesn't have such an American, an anti-American bias, right? Some piece of shit group that's not, I don't know, a Stalinist, right? Stalinist, you might be such a communist, but he killed innocent people, right? So should I, allow a Stalinist to march through a fucking town? I don't want that. I don't want, a Stalinist marching through my town. But if a Stalinist does march through my town, and I believe in freedom of speech and right to peacefully assemble and all these, freedoms in the Bill of Rights, well, then what am I going to do, right? You're the fucking Stalinist. They're not threatening violence. It's a peaceful little protest, a little march, or what the fuck ever. Fuck a Stalinist, right? Fuck a Maoist. And the Chavistas are okay, but if the big Stalinist parade, so you got this big Stalinist parade that's going through my town. What Briahna Joy Gray makes me think of is there are other ways to confront a Stalinist that's marching through my town. So, fucking Nazi, Confederate, KKK, put up roadblocks, right? Pelt them with rocks and fuck those motherfuckers. But when it comes to, a Stalinist, is there or maybe somebody, a corporatist, right, a capitalist, or I don't know, somebody wanting a Pizza Hut or some shit. You got a bunch of Stalinists who's marching through the goddamn, city. So we don't do violence, right? So we have to respect peaceful protest, peaceful assemble. So they march through. What can we do? Well, we can march with them. We can march on the side. We can have our own signs. We can give a counter narrative so it doesn't look like this town is just specifically one way. When they take pictures, they'll see that, the town's people, these people are outsiders, and there's a lot of people that was against what these people were doing. So we can make a presence and be on the opposite side of the street. We can also, by being on the opposite side of the street, make sure this is Antifa. We could be on the opposite side of the street to make sure they're not going to do any damage. Yeah, you got a right to peacefully protest. Okay, Stalinist, go ahead, peacefully protest through our neighborhood. But we're going to be watching you. We're going to make sure that you're not going to do anything dumb. Just do your little march, do your little fucking speech or whatever, and get the fuck on. Get the fuck on. Get on back home. Go back, goddamn Stalinist, go back to where the fuck you came from. So if you have Stalinists that's coming into your town, you don't want to, punching people in the face, that's violence, right? That's criminal too. That's criminal behavior. But the idea is that it's to stop criminal, right? It'd be like 666. It'd be like The Omen, right? It'd be like snuffing Hitler out as soon as he's born. And as much as, that would stop the Holocaust and all that, but how the fuck do you make that judgment? Only if you had a time machine could you make that fucking judgment. But, and then you're going to have a hell of a time convincing people back then that this baby's going to do what now? So it's criminal. So what you have to do for the Stalinists is make it uncomfortable. You have to make it uncomfortable. You got to, try to trip them up and kind of, make it not easy for them to do it. But ultimately, if you're a Stalinist and you believe in American values, then you're allowed to fucking goddamn be a stupid-ass fucking Stalinist. Hurry up, do your fucking thing, don't stop traffic to, for an hour, from 5 to 6 o'clock, okay, fine. Do your little fucking march from one side to the other, go to your little park, make your little speech, and then go the fuck home, right? Then go the fuck home. And if it's like a bunch of outsiders, like, Nazis and Confederates and KKK, there might be too many of them, and so in a way we might have to, because to punch Nazis, I mean, that's kind of acting a fool, so I don't know. If there's national attention, we probably shouldn't act a fool. Nah, fucking Nazi, Confederate, KKK. I don't feel bad about that. I'll never fucking feel bad about that. The only thing is the free speech thing. So when they start saying, well, they can't speak, they can fucking speak, okay? But seriously, you're an American. There's so many things. You could be, not just the black and white and the Rainbow Panthers. You could be, Antifa. You could be anti-war. You could be on the consumer movement. You could be, legalize marijuana. So many things that you can, be, and you could be all that you could be. Be whatever the fuck you want to be. Just be a good American. Just be a good man, Be a good community man. Be a good husband. Be a good father. But to be like, I'm going to be a KKK. That's what I want. Be a KKK. Well, you didn't really think that through, did you? Did you even fucking think it? Did you even think about it? Did you even say, what the hell did I want to be, or did someone tell you to fucking be that like that? Because you kind of just didn't see past your own fucking face. You could be anything you want to be. You hear that? You hear that, son? You hear that, son? You could be anything you want to be. Anything. You could be an astronaut. You could be a football star. You could be president of the United States. Anything you want to be, son. You could be anything you want to be. So tell me, son, what is it that you want to be? A Ku Klux Klanner? A Kluxer? You want to be a Klux Klanner? A Klux Klan motherfucking Confederate motherfucking Nazi? Oh, fuck you. Oh, shit. Well, I guess that's where I fucked up by giving you freedom of choice. So, alright, let's watch a couple more clips.
You say that the approach you're describing is scalable, and the de-radicalization approach isn't. But what strikes me is that it seems like there has been a radicalization approach that has been taking years. The radicalizers are happy to take years and pursue this project, and that they have been able to scale it at a significant degree. That in some ways, and we've talked about the Powell memo on the show a lot, that it's this, famous memo by soon-to-be Supreme Court Justice Lewis Powell, where he set out an agenda for the Conservative Party in the 1970s and said, well, look, we're losing the culture wars, this is how we fix it. And it was 30 years before Fox News, which was one of the goals of the Powell memo, a right-wing news organization, manifested. And, we're just now seeing the apotheosis of their efforts to take the Supreme Court and all of this stuff, right? And that there is a way to the long game, I think, while frustrating and not as instantly gratifying, is very effective. On the other hand, I'm concerned about what it means to say something like, we don't let them into our towns, we don't let them into our universities. Just on a logistical level, I don't know what that even begins to look like, and so I am skeptical about the idea that that in and of itself could be scalable.
You're completely entitled to your skepticism. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Like,
well,